we're waiting. You can get it all set there.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna call to order the meeting of the Arlington Water Department at 7 p.m. Are there any additions or deletions from the agenda this evening? All right, hearing none, I'll seek a motion to approve the minutes from the previous water board meeting on April 20th.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Glenn, seconded by Sebastian to approve the minutes from the Arlington Water Department meeting on April 20th. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Public comments. This is the opportunity for anyone, members of the public, either on the call or in the room, that would like to comment with regards to the Arlington Water Department meeting for public comments. Hearing none, we'll dispense with public comments, and we're going to move on to item number 5, which is the report from our Chief Operator, Josh Grace.
Yes. So the water meter update. So me and Katie have currently been more or less doing interviews with meter companies, trying to see what might be the best fit for the town of Arlington moving forward. We did send out an RFP, so most of these presentations are built off and around that. We've been through half of them so far, and then I don't want to speak for Katie, but it seems like maybe we're leaning towards the AMI/cellular ultrasonic meter option, as opposed to the radio read, which is basically the meter just sends data daily to the computer as opposed to having to drive around and collect the data. And also with cellular, the customer gets a portal. We can send updates and information through the portal to them. So it just seems like there's a little bit more benefits to that. And then also with talking to Ashley Lutch, who has been kind of helping me organize my budget and planning for the future, she kind of recommended taking a loan out and doing all the meters and paying like $12,000 a year instead of doing like $12K a year for 30 meters. So just like kind of biting the bullet, since over a quarter of them aren't working. So we can have a discussion down the road about that. RFP is only for 30 meters. But she said you're kind of, if we're to adjust the rates, that we really need all the meters functioning, and that's even like a year plus down the road.
What would be the end all be all loan at that point then though?
It would be like, and it was just a rough number, but it's a little over 100.
Okay.
And she said if we apply it through the bond bank, we can
we'd be looking at 10, right? 9, 10 years, 8, 10.
Yeah, I think
years,
depends
like
on the amount.
Right, sure.
The
No, I
length.
get that. It's just very ballpark at this point. No, I get that.
So it'd be like roughly like 12K a year for 10 years, and then all the meters would be installed. And then each company seems to be offering a meter install service. So you'd also kind of roll that in. I mean, 30 a year is manageable for me, but obviously 400 isn't.
Come on.
So that's an option as well to roll in that. But we're kind of just going to keep going through the meter demonstrations, and we'll have to have a conversation later on about that. But maybe if we finalize it to 1 or 2, we'll have them send us a quote for all of them on top of the 30.
There's an economy of scale.
Yeah,
sure.
Well. See if we can save some money. Obviously, if you're buying that many, they're going to give you a break. So, and then we would have to, it's like a year to put in for the bond bank, and then a year for them to like choose you if possible. Okay. So that's where we're kind of at with that. We have another one scheduled for Thursday, and then another one that's going to be probably in like a week or 2, and then we'll be through all of the ones that we were kind of interested in or we've reached out. And then on the Allied side, they currently were, if we owed them money, so say if somebody paid us directly and they didn't get their cut, if somebody did pay them, they would take that percentage out. So moving forward, they're not going to do that. Are just going to send us a bill, which makes life easier on our end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So other than that, everything's been working good with them.
Are we seeing some results? I think you
had,
what, 26 that you sent the last time?
Yeah, so they basically...
Yeah, you sent 26 at the last meeting.
Less than that right there.
Yeah, so there's like 21 now at them. So they seem to be most effective with people that are like $300 to like $600 range. And then obviously the problem ones that we had, they
We
have
knew that
them
those were
as
gonna be
well.
problematic, but yeah.
So that's where that's kind of at, but they seem to be like sending them the people that are just coming on the 120-day mark who
Mhm.
don't respond to the payment plan mailer. Seem to get like that gets taken away immediately, which is good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
so it seems like it is effective kind of in like the middle stages where we might not
And
have
in
much
that
grasp.
mid-range of balance.
Sure.
Right? Which, anything's better than nothing.
Yes, for sure. And at that rate, they almost have enough interest on their account where it's kind of paying for LA.
Mhm.
So,
That's kind of what we calculated originally, basically.
yeah. I mean, some people might be on the lower end of that, and then obviously vice versa.
We weren't really taking the loss, we just weren't getting the interest.
Correct.
On it was the.
Correct. And then so just an update on the grant generator stuff. So 22nd of this month, Suburban's coming to remove the old tank and the lines. Mark from the road crew is gonna come down on the 28th, and we're gonna dig conduit with Monument Electric, as well as putting in the propane line. And then after that, we're gonna be installing the new door and insulation in the building. And then following that, August 3rd, the new generator comes with a pad and electrical hookup. And then August 11th, Suburban's coming with the new tank, filling the new tank and hooking it up, and we're gonna be doing tests. And then after that, we'll have to vote on a heating slash cooling system. That's kind of the only thing we haven't voted on so far. But we were waiting on some parts, and so now they're in, so now it's gonna be kind of like hammer down time to get it all installed. For digs, I have one service line we have to do this week, as well as a water main, actually across from Dan Harvey's house. I did put out a sign just warning people that the water is going to be off from Jasper Lane, basically to Chisholmville Road, or Jasper Lane to Covered Bridge. We're gonna have to shut it off for a period of time. So I sent that out there. I'm sure we're gonna get calls. I let everybody know that if we get calls, that's what the deal is, and that it should be on. But yep. And then moving to shut off notifications. So I had sent 12 people.
So we'll cover those letters specifically
Okay.
in an executive session.
Okay. Do you want me just to go over the?
But you can give us a high level,
Yes.
and then we can talk about the individual letters in
Okay.
executive session. I don't think that's
Yeah.
appropriate to cover in open
For
session.
sure. So I did 12 customers. Out of those 12, I have 2 renter agreements and one that wasn't living there at the time. So they did not have an option when the first payment plans got sent out. So to their benefit, I signed them up with a payment plan, and then they'll fall under the same category as everybody else afterwards if it's not met. So, and then obviously we have 4 people that have sent us basically a protest that we'll have to go over an executive session. And then the rest of them are definitely scheduled for the 23rd date after 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. To be shut off.
That's this one.
Yep, that's this week. Yep. And I sent mailers in the mail, stating the same thing, and also tried knocking on doors, getting a hold of people. And if they didn't come to the door, I just taped it to the door. Yeah, everything was painted in pink. And all my contact information is on there. So I made it blatantly obvious, and then also
multicolor paper that you have to use in this process.
So that's that with that, and then we can go over the other, like I said, the other protest afterwards.
Yeah.
And then just to touch on the age receivable accounts. So I know you guys have a total age receivables with the current paid, but for mine that I've been focusing on the whole time for anything over 120 days, since the start of this month in January, we're down 12 accounts from that, and we're down 18.5% for the total for the over 120 day rates.
Doing exactly what I was gonna ask.
So,
So that's awesome.
so it's been good. I mean, there's been some people that have been added on along the ways and deducted. So we're down to like 22 accounts, which have been habitual people, since I've been here and previous to me. And then we're still working, one big estate, account 002, which is a good chunk of change.
Mhm.
So, and that's obviously at Allied, and I don't think there's too much progress. And with that being said, 043 account, that's a renter agreement, so they're just basically paying the ongoing bills.
Mhm.
And also account 161. The renter has agreed to pay that as well,
Right.
after they got the most recent shut off notification, and also 268. The renter is also paying that. And there is protection for the renter.
Yeah,
can
because
pay-
they can pay
Yes.
they can pay the money, you don't have to pay the arrears, but they
They
can
can
pay
pay-
the current.
yeah.
From their lease period or
Yes.
whatever.
It just happens to be that two of those individuals also live there, but that's not anything we can do about that. But the renter does have protection in order to remain in the house of water.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Katie, do we want to also touch on the wastewater contract proposal?
yes.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have gotten it. We had talked to Todd. I had talked to Ian, who currently operates the wastewater treatment plant over there. He more or less wants to kind of phase out within the next couple of years. And I know it was at one point interest with the town to maybe think about taking it over. And I think this initial first step kind of gives us an inside view of the wastewater system while they're kind of paying for me without us really taking any risk for it. I mean, obviously it's your guys' decision whether we want to move forward with that, but it seems like the towns or the schools at a point where they kind of want to offload the system, and the old operator's ready to kind of be done with it. So it's,
I know there's definitely, we've had talk on multiple uses as part of the wastewater committee for that plant.
Sure.
And I do feel like there is an advantage to really understanding what's failing there, age, condition, all of that. And this is a great way to get that insight
sure.
in that. The one question that I did have is, so you would be doing the way the contract is structured and the stipend for that work is structured, that would be in addition to your full-time 40-hour work week
Yep.
here with the water department, or 30 whatever to 40. So I just wanted to gauge like your availability to successfully fulfill that and have
Sure.
those extra, because I mean, it is extra hours in a week above your
Yes.
full-time job here.
For sure. It doesn't seem to be a problem. When I talked to Ian, it sounds like how they run it most of the time in the summertime, which usually everybody's on vacation. I take the most vacation in the summertime. It's basically on recycle, and there's maybe like once a weekend that somebody goes there and runs
Okay.
it for an hour. So basically when school's not running, it stays dormant, and they're doing like a recycle once, maybe twice a week tops. So basically during school year is there where they're kind of operating every day. It sounds like somebody needs to be there like for 1 hour a day, and you can do that at any point throughout the day. There's just the same responsibility. It's more or less, just doing some laboratory. And then in the contract, it was kind of laid out where I would slowly kind of become doing more work, such as taking laboratory tests, taking samples to send to Endine, which I had done at Bromley, which I do here. So they'd be getting dropped off at the same place. Wastewater has a lot more hold time, so you could take those at odd hours. A lot of the water samples have like an 8-hour hold time. So I have to take those first thing in the morning to ensure they get to the lab and have enough hold time before they go bad.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So it just allows me flexibility there. And speaking with Todd, they said if I was on vacation, which would let them know ahead of time, that they would have somebody. Vinny currently kind of helps out, so he would fill in the gap if I wasn't there or Ian couldn't cover. So there would be somebody else there. So it's not like I'm 100% committed to going there every day. And in the summer months, it's once a week. So it's not a daily requirement. And it's more or less like a yearly contract. So at the end of the year, we can talk about a little more seriously what we want to do. I can have projections, what we need to invest if we were to take it over. And just get a more of an idea of what is needed and if it's really worth us taking it over. I know they have a lot of room for capacity. Obviously the transition to hook people on would be slow and costly, but and then we could kind of maybe evolve the water department into a two-person operation as well from there, which eventually is going to be an issue trying to find a backup operator. So that would kind of alleviate that and make filling the chief operator position a lot easier as well down the road. And somebody kind of knows what's going on instead of having to figure it out.
And I think that I know there's more capacity on that system, but I think there's some limitations on current discharge. So
so they have to
help us
meet.
fully understand all of that would be really cool, because we've talked about pump out programs and stuff like that, and using, putting a screen and a tank in, using that as the processing plant for a pump out program. So
I think it's I think certainly that it could turn into something really good. But like I said, it's kind of just seeing the outside of it, and I really, for the town, I think would want to.
Yeah, we would need to do our due diligence before we took it over. And I think this is, in my opinion, this is an excellent way to do that, as we've really talked about and had the wastewater committee, and we've talked about a lot of different options, and we know that there's a barrier to entry with cost, and we've got some test pits that they're evaluating, right, to expand the school system and see if there are opportunities there. So in my opinion, this gives us a really good opportunity to kind of get the inside look on the due diligence for that. I did write the contract, and I know Katie, you reviewed it. I
thought your additions to it.
Josh, you did a good first stab at it. I added.
Only get so much from me.
I added like 6 additional pages, but and reduced the font, but they were necessary. I don't know other members of the board if you had time to review it, and if you had any comments on that. I'm open to hear, Glenn or Sebastian, your opinion on what we should do with this.
I mean, I've reviewed it sitting here for the last 45 minutes or so. I mean, so far, everything looks good. I haven't really deep dove into it, but I mean,
it's kind of
pretty self-explanatory too at the same
cut
time.
and dry contract where it just says Ian will be around for a month or 2 period to be more hands-on with me, so I can understand and learn exactly what's going on. And then there's just going to be kind of a slow transition period where I'll start taking over samples from him. I'll be doing mainly the lab, maybe do some reporting towards the end, and then work on upgrading my grade 1 license to a grade 2, which is what you need to operate solely of the system.
So you can be in charge of that system.
So down the road, I could be in charge of the system, whereas right now I would be working under his license because he has the correct grade for that. And then there was a couple things Matt threw in there, which I didn't have, was just to pay for clerical.
So that's an important call out, that under Article 7 for compensation, what we would charge the school for this service. I factored in some additional time, man hours for both Janet and Christian to do billing and track payments and stuff like that. So that.
And he said, I know there was some issues with the way the other arrangement was made. And talking to Todd, he said he could do like 6 months and then we would just pay out from there or whatever's easiest. So it wouldn't be kind of a nightmare like it was. And there's no hourly, it's just a stipend.
This is
monthly.
this is easier because this is a flat rate that they're paying, so they should be able to set that up. Whereas when we did the plowing agreement, right, it was based on hours, so that was a variable cost, which I understand through payroll is, or through accounts payable is a lot more difficult. So. Yeah, and I do think, where did I added in here for, that, we can suspend the agreement if we do have payment problems. So I don't think, Todd and the school board haven't reviewed this yet. So, if this is something that the board has interest in us pursuing, I would seek a motion, to, I guess, continue to pursue that and propose the contract to the school. I don't know if we need a motion on it now, or if we can just pass the contract, if that's probably most appropriate to just pass the contract if the sense of the board is that we want to try and move forward with this.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree, yeah.
Because we wouldn't actually vote on it. I'm sure that they will have red lines and we'll have to make sure that we can come to an agreement first.
Yeah.
I think we pass it on.
And I think our next meeting is in August.
Yeah.
And we can add this and cover it at a select board meeting as well, if we just put it on the agenda between now and then.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Perfect.
yeah, so I think the sense of the board is that, we can pursue that, and Katie, reach out to Todd with the contracts to seek red lines or input.
Thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. That's great.
You know me in those contracts.
That's somebody else.
If I had to start all over again and do it over again. So, all right, we got a financial update. We went over the aged receivables. I think we're good. I think
We have
we've
to do
got
our
a quick
executive
executive session to discuss some specific accounts and letters regarding those. So I would seek a motion to, I would say it's a legal or contractual matter, and seek a motion for executive session.
Sure. So, I will make a motion that premature discussion of what did you say was it?
Contractual or legal.
A legal issue would cause the municipality to suffer substantial disadvantage.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian, seconded by Glenn, to establish the reason for executive session. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Aye. And then you.
will ask Katie and Josh to remain in the room. Oh, is that?
So you need to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to enter executive discussion for the discussion of a legal issue and allow Katie and Josh to remain in the room.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian and second by Glenn to enter into executive session for said legal matter. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are in executive session. All right, we are out of executive session at 7:37 with no action to be taken. Is there any other business to be brought before the water board? Hearing none, I will seek a motion to adjourn the Arlington Water Department meeting.
So move.
With a second,
Second.
motion by Glenn, second by Sebastian, we are adjourned. All right, give us
Thank you
just
all.
a minute.
Thanks, Josh.
Get set up
Appreciate your
for
time,
the
buddy.
Select board. Thank you.
Just a reminder, anyone that didn't sign in already, if you could please, thank you.
We don't have any additions to this. We did check.
Send these things.
Yeah, just what we
I have
did.
one thing under TA update, it's just about sidewalk project.
That's fine, but we
there's
don't
no
have any
action.
other, and we will have a short executive session at the very end, probably with no action, so. All right, well, we still recording?
Yes.
All right, perfect. We will call the Arlington Select Board meeting to order at 7:38 p.m. I don't believe there are any additions or deletions from the agenda this evening. I will seek a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the July 6th meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion by Sebastian, second by Glenn to approve the meeting minutes of the July 6th meeting as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Brings us to public comment section of the meeting, which may be the best part of the meeting at some point, as Ivan Beatty says in Manchester. But we'll see public comments on any topic that is not on the agenda this evening. And just to remind people that we can't take any action from public comments, but we can listen and, if necessary, add that to a future agenda item. Does anybody have public comments this evening, either on the phone or in the room? Perfect. Hearing none, we will dispense with public comments. And we're going to move on to agenda item number 5, which is the Green Mountain National Forest District update. It looks like we've got some guests with us regarding that. Martina Barnes, the district ranger. I hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
Perfect. Hi,
Super. Hi.
how's everyone doing?
So well.
Yeah, hello, and thanks for having us give a short update on what's happening on the Green Mountain National Forest. And some of you, or I think some of you were familiar, and Cynthia.
We've been here a while.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Katie, not to meet you in person, but.
Oh, no, I'm here.
Oh, you're Katie.
I'm here.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry, Martina, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. We had a Zoom and.
You're there.
I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere.
You're everywhere, Katie. You're everywhere.
Yeah.
I would take that back. Nice to meet you in person. So yeah, we've been going around to a bunch of towns this spring, and I guess now we're into the summer time, but just wanted a chance to provide an update on some projects. And we also have one of our partners here with the Conservation Fund. And I have Stacy Stratton here, who's on our timber staff, but just wanted to, I guess, to start off by reassuring you that there has been a lot of news about the changes happening. There are changes, pretty significant changes happening with the U.S. Forest Service in nationwide, and which is primarily impacting the headquarters office and the regional offices, which currently we're part of a regional office organizationally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But the good news is that for the most part, the changes that are happening there really won't be impacting the forest level organization and the district level organization either. So we did unfortunately lose some staff due to some of the cuts that were made last year, but by and large, the impacts to the ranger district level are there are some impacts, but not as significant as like on the national or regional level. So just kind of wanted to start off by saying that in case you hear, there's been a lot of news about it, depending on what news you listen to, but it's been in national news. And then, yeah, so start off with that. And yeah, and for us, we're still pretty active with some timber projects, fish and wildlife enhancement projects, as well as recreation projects. In Arlington specifically, well, when the time comes, I'll introduce Sally. She can talk a little bit just about an update on the Taconic Gateway project, which will be a large land acquisition project, about 2,000 or so acres. Probably not for 1 or 2 more years realistically. And then some of our timber projects, but before I turn it over to Stacy to talk specifically about some of the timber projects that are happening in or around Arlington, not in Arlington proper, just wanted to mention there is last year I signed a decision to authorize the implementation of a statewide or, well, district-wide mountain bike trail called the Velomont, VELOMONT. And I'll leave you some of the maps. The whole project description is on our website. And We did do some public meetings as that project was rolling out, but it'll primarily use existing trails like the Catamount Trail and other existing trails like the VAS, the snowmobile trails in some sections and in some sections roads, but there will be some new mountain bike construction, and currently they're building some trails up in the like East Manchester, like by Peru area, Win Hall sections. And although the trail won't directly come through Arlington, it will go around Grout Pond. So, you know, access that through the Stratton Arlington Road, Kelly Stand Road. And the intent of the whole project is to really connect communities to recreation. So if you want to learn more about it, I can put you in touch with Dana, who's on our staff and has she's our project lead on that. But the hope is that it will, you know, help to bring economic development to towns that are adjacent to or linked to where the Belmont is going. And it's going to take several years. We're working with a group called the Belmont Trail Collective. RJ Thompson is the director of that organization, and he can give you the ins and outs. But yeah, just wanted to mention that is a kind of an exciting project that we're pretty excited about. So, and I'll leave you the maps for that project. Our apologies for our color printer is a little on the front.
We don't have a color printer.
It's more like gray, but
Very neat.
oh, was that last year's map? Look at that. We got an update from Stacy. So I can, yeah, if you want to kind of address the timber.
Sure, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
I'm Stacy Stratton. I'm the timber manager of the Manchester district. And of course, our district is with Win Hall, a little bit north of there, all the way down through the, Massachusetts border. So I have here to present a 5-year timber plan, and I don't think there's anything except what's already being harvested at Grass Mountain for Arlington. But there are in the 5-year plan, a future one right here. And we're calling it Catamount Cobbles on the other side of Highway 7. So that'll be something in the future. That's a 2029 sale. So it's part of the early successional habitat, and so the emphasis for that harvest in there is for wildlife, and for migratory birds and other wildlife that need those. And because part of the treatment is to remove trees to make an opening, now I have a product to sell. Instead of just leaving the trees there, we make a timber sale on it. But it's not a timber emphasis, it's wildlife emphasis. So I have a nice laminated one here. It's nice and shiny. And thank you, like to it. And so the other one, here is the Grass Mountain, and that's just about all harvested. There's going to be just a little bit more this year. That's accessed from the Shaftesbury Hollow Road from the south. And so that is actually our partner, Rough Browse Society, is implementing that sale for us. She's not here tonight. Her name is Amelia Napper, but that sale is just about all cut out. So if you're up that way and you want to see what that type of harvest looks like, it's there, and it's already been planted with oak. So
Awesome.
But
Yeah, they're gonna do, I think in August, right? They're planning to do the remaining.
yeah, so when there's more harvest, and when they finish it off, there's more acres to plant. And so we had a big field day up there a couple weeks ago to put the shelters on to keep the deer off them. But there's so much oak growing out there. Once the ground got exposed, it's just oaks everywhere. Just wait for daylight,
Sure.
So, good place to deer hunt. I would say, please go up there because there are so many deer that are just eating everything.
The choice to plant oaks in that particular area is because that's what was there originally, or any other
There is.
specific reasons that they're.
No, the oak was already there. So we just wanted to, put some extra in.
Okay.
You never know how many are gonna survive. So we just supplemental planting is what we call it. So it's just adding some extras, but we probably didn't need to.
I was just wondering if there was like a reasoning around what species tree you plant in any given.
There usually is, and in this case, it's oak, well, there was already oak there. Cause that, you know, we want oak to be there, you know, so a lot of the northern hardwoods, like, you know, red maple, sugar maple, things like that. We just tried to, you know, we cut those and, cause oak wants to grow there. It just was removed back, you know, when it was.
That's what
fields.
wants to grow there. That's what
Yeah.
should grow there,
So
right?
that's what's growing there now. You go there now and there's oak
Right.
everywhere.
Cool.
Is there any other questions? I mean, we really don't have a whole lot down this way. I mean, we have, you know, some sales off of Kelly Stand Road, you know, in Sunderland that have been sold, haven't been harvested yet, but we're keeping a pretty, you know, good plan. I mean, we've you know, increased every year since I've been here for 10 years, and we've increased from like 8 million board feet up to like 12 million board feet a year. And that's for us in Rochester. So it's, you know, we've, you know, increased as time's gone, so.
Are the cuts on Kelly Stand happening this year or?
You know, if it was, it'd be this winter.
Yeah.
So Hunter Excavation has that sale,
Gotcha.
but they also have 5 other sales, you know.
I know all about them.
Yeah, Powell and all of them, so I would hope they would, you know, but it's, I don't know, it's, you know, what it is, I guess.
No,
Yeah, no.
I was just wondering if you.
I
had
wish
a-
they did.
No, yeah, me too, but
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
And we have some sales on the other end of Kelly Stand, you know, at Grout Pond, if you're up that way, we harvested there last winter.
Yep.
And then we actually are having another sale on the other side of the road. It's called the backside sale, which is on the backside. And so it'll be on the north side of Kelly Stand Road. And that's more for wildlife oriented. So trying to move them around everywhere, so not so much in one spot in one year.
Let's see if I can't get Hunter a call there.
That'd be great.
He would love to
He's
get
also
out.
doing the work at Grout Pond. We're doing, improving some.
He's a
he's
busy guy.
Oh, he's a big man.
I don't know how he does it, but you know, I've gone out on some of those sales in the winter and he just, next thing you know, he's up in coveralls, you know, and he's covering grease and slush and he's right out there on a Sunday with people working. So-
Absolutely.
So that's how you get it, so. But yeah, if you have any questions about the timber, you can contact Martina and she can answer anything. Go through me. So it's pretty much the same as last year. Things that know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, maybe I'll introduce Sally.
Sure.
Hi,
Hi, everyone. I can join you up there.
Yeah.
Hi, good to see you all. Hi, so, me again, good to see you. Conservation funds, we still own the property. Yeah, the Murray Hollow property, we also call it Big Spruce, or Big Spruce Mountain. We also call it the Conic Gateway, it's got a few different names. And those of you in the room are unfamiliar, the Conservation Fund, we purchased that property as part of 20,000 acres in 3 states as part of the COE ownership. And for the last, gosh, through COVID even, we've been working on this, I think, with that long ago. I'm not even sure anymore. Sure, yeah, that sounds about right. And so from starting, we started with you with getting support for this to go to the forest and secure the funding for the feds and kind of slowly working through due diligence. And now we're in the process of appraising the property, almost. We're starting that process, so I imagine we'll start appraising it in 3 months. It's like, and then, so we're hopeful next year when we come back to give you an update, we can say we have maybe 1 more year till it's part of the forest and part of that great management that you just heard all about. So incorporate into that all those same management units. Yeah. So the one thing I will share, and I think it's in your packets, throughout the whole time, we've been working with you all and the Forest Service on this property, ensuring that as the public access this property, they don't block the road, the access for emergency vehicles on both the Murray Hollow side and the Benedict Hollow side. And so the photos you have is the Murray Hollow side. There's also a map showing the location where last summer, we put in a parking lot kind of pull-off area, which is fully on the future Forest Service property. So that will help facilitate public access on the Murray Hollow side without blocking the road. That's just like pulling off in front of the gate or, blocking access to the roadway.
So that's on the, and didn't we talked about parking on the Benedict Hollow side, and I'm glad Cynthia is
Yeah, I'm glad
here to
Cynthia's
help
here too.
refresh my memory on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you guys had a survey done and, the results of the survey showed that the town road actually stops in the middle of the current Benedict Hollow turnaround area. And I don't know why it was put where it was put, but there's slopes on either side. It's real tight. There's water moving around. So they put it where they put it. So, the proposal that the Forest Service and Conservation Fund brought to Arlington last year, this was when Nick was still in there and then I sort of inherited, was the idea that the town would slide our turnaround downhill and then the upper half of the turnaround would be used for parking for access to the Green Mountain National Forest. Now, the question has arisen as to whether their survey is actually correct or whether some of the turnaround is actually Ann Montour's property, and actually some of the turnaround is on Ann Montour's property, for sure. So, but be that as it may, it's not gonna be that easy to get the turnaround and have enough radius sliding it downhill because of the way the ground slopes off and the water moving, and Mark has been talking about getting a bigger truck. I don't find that, I went over it with Mark, I've measured it out. If you used half of the current turnaround as parking, maybe it could have 3 vehicles. Because you still have to allow people to go through to their property, and we still have to have room for town trucks and emergency vehicles. And in other circumstances, the town has not felt that using the town turnaround for parking was a good solution. And although I know that part of the town turnaround is on the conservation fund land, given that this is a permanent change, I don't think space for 3 vehicles is sufficient. I think there should be space for 5 vehicles. I think you need to figure out a way to get the parking up on your property where people want to be. I think the chances that people, whatever signage we put up there, the chances that people will obey it and not block the road, not block. I mean, if we have a forest fire up there or a house fire up there, and I'm just very, very concerned about that. So my report, and I'm not the town administrator, I'm the land use administrator now. So I reported my concerns to the select board. And that I feel that you need to rethink that approach and figure out a way to have the parking further up. This is incredibly important to us because your other plot only has good access from Shaftesbury, New York. So you can't give us another plot where the good access is from New York. You can't do that. So you guys have to figure out a better way. In my opinion, you guys need to figure out a way to use the live landing that's up on your property that has a road to it already. I understand the problems of controlling vehicle movement, with gates or fences or whatever. But to my mind, using, anything that's part of or was once the town turnaround is just a non-starter. It doesn't serve the safety of the townspeople in Arlington. It doesn't serve the road crew or the emergency vehicles, and it doesn't serve the other residents in that area. And I just predict that in deer season, people would just park everywhere. They do. They already do that. So I just think it's going to be a problem that will be a source of continual conflict. And in my opinion, if this question of parking can't be resolved in another way, I would ask the select board to withdraw support for the purchase. That's how seriously I feel about it. Now, that's just my position. I wrote the memo for the board. It's in the board's hand. But you need to understand that I think you have a serious problem.
I don't even think there's room for 3 cars. Because if you look, if your property line survives and mine doesn't, and you do own that, you own a quarter of it, you don't own half. And you park a pickup truck in there, and it's gonna stick out into the road.
Yeah, once it's a pickup truck, then you can't do.
And how are you gonna, people who park there, like to go for a walk, they just park anywhere. I don't know, and
They're doing that right now.
yeah, they've always done it.
Yeah, they've always.
People just park and they park sideways, they park anywhere they want.
Prove problems for you living there? I'm curious.
Yes, in the past it has. People, since Mike moved in, it's not so bad. people used to party there and stuff. Kids. But, opening day of hunting season, you're talking like 10 pickup trucks. And it used to be when Cooley owned it, and there wasn't a hunting club there, which, you know, people would park all over the place. You couldn't even get down our driveway. And I don't want to go through that again either.
So I know Cynthia coming tonight and articulating that, because Cynthia, as having had numerous hats throughout the years as interim town administrator on the board. And I know that she worked closely with our highway foreman and went out and did a lot of measuring and footwork. I think as you continue, in my opinion, and I'll defer to Glenn and Sebastian as well, you know, based on what we've heard and read and heard from neighbors and everything, that as you proceed with this project, to seriously look at how we can rectify the parking on the Benedict Hollis side, or come to a solution there. And, you know, what is that, in my mind, what is the projection for the number of parkers per day and peak season?
Tough. It's like,
And
you don't wanna
I know
do-
it's
you have to do,
completely
like, a
hard.
Christmas lot, like you don't want, like the first day of hunting season. there's
Yeah.
no parking lot.
I'm terrible because I'm a
Like, it's sort of-
retailer, so I'm gonna ask you for predictions on, you know, what is your traffic on Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
Or the Black Friday of the forest season, if you will, and figure out just. I ask that you look at that and come to us with some proposed solution, or you know, even a drawing that depicts like where we might put it or what it exactly
It's
looks
kind of
like
tough,
would be
so
helpful.
do you know the property pretty well? So
I haven't, I was gonna ask Glenn
Yeah.
to take me up there.
Yeah, and I'd love to do a trip with you, because it's kind of
Okay.
tough terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, because like the area.
It'd be great to see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like
we'd be happy
to
to.
do that.
so.
I'm curious
Yeah.
to actually see it, and it's my fault that I haven't
No,
made
it's-
time to
I-
go out there, but if somebody could
It's
take
great.
me, because I'm
Yep.
not, I'll
No,
get
it's-
lost on my own.
We will happily take you up there. I think, because. this
And
is
Brian will have to
authority-
come find me.
Yeah, and we can be there and help you get back out. You don't have to call
Thank
the
you.
fire department. Just because it would be nice to have a collaborative solution, because it's tough for us to like go back, Scratcher has to come back to you, like it'd be nice to kind of work.
Absolutely, and I
so
think
it's- and I've been
that's really
trying to-
what we're asking.
Yeah,
is
so
to
I
come up.
would, so tell me how to, because like it's a tough terrain, like we have that turnaround and then it's that narrow road. And then the place Cynthia's referring is kind of like a short drive uphill.
Mhm.
So it's like, I think it's probably like a half mile, 3/4 of a mile from that turnaround up to that little parking lot she's referring to. So, but I also agree with everything that's been said. Like, this is a road that there's 2 full-time domiciles in Benedict's camp. So there are 3 kind of residents.
I'd love to lay
that are
eyes on
impacted
it,
by all
to
this. But I think we just need
collaborate,
to see
kind
it.
of come up with an idea, maybe we
Yeah.
can figure something out or see
Exactly.
something that, you know.
It can't just bounce around in my head
It-
anymore.
Absolutely,
Yeah, or
and
Cynthia's, like, it'd be nice to bring in some other ones.
I would love to
Same.
Yeah.
put feet on the street and look at it, and maybe
Can you
coordinate
help
that.
Can you help
with-
coordinate
I will
this?
coordinate that.
I
I'll get
love
everyone's
this.
availability and dates and.
Love it. Good.
Field trip.
Yeah.
Field trip.
No better time of year.
Field trip.
I just want to
Yeah,
say
you
that.
can go behind the gate and everything.
When we were talking about the Red Mountain Forest parcel,
Yeah,
and I people were accessing that parcel across private land
yes.
from the turnaround at the
Yep.
end of Wilcox Road, which is actually a big turnaround. And I went to that numerous times during the summer and the fall when that was all under discussion. And that was full of cars.
Yeah.
Okay, during the summer, not deer season, during the summer. So, that has views from the top of Red Mountain and things like that, that this property doesn't have. But there are trails on this property, and I just want to emphasize, this is permanent. This is for the future. So if you don't have, if you with the plan that we have right now, if you have more than 3 people who want to hike there, they have no place to park.
I appreciate
Except to
that.
block things.
When
that-
Cooey owned it, before it was leased to the hunting club people, a lot more people used to go up there, either walking, cross-country skiing, doing stuff up there. But that sort of died in the last couple, years, because the hunting Some people yell at you if you go on it.
No, I appreciate that. I think, I would like to look at it and lay eyes on it myself, and I appreciate all the concerns, and Cynthia, your hard work in this, because I know you spent a lot of time on it while you were on interim in the town administrator and on the select board, looking into this. So, I think it is something that we should put feet on the ground and look at and see if we can come up with a collaborative solution to
Yep.
address some of these concerns.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time and willingness.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
It's a huge help. Yeah. So
I promise I won't go there and look alone.
You know who to call if you get
Well,
like
yeah.
I can find you.
Yeah.
I have a satellite phone, but still, I just, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, happy to coordinate that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I think it'd be beneficial for everybody.
Can I just
Yeah.
make one other
Yep.
comment? It doesn't seem to me that the Conservation Fund has done much work on the road at all. There are numerous failed culverts, the water bars don't work,
Yeah,
the
it's a private
drainage
road.
from
It's a
the
private
road.
property.
but Bly Hollow, Bly Hollow asserts that you own the road,
Correct.
and the drainage from the road comes down onto the town road. So, so I think that that's kind of not, and the only work that's been done on the road since it's been owned by the Conservation Fund, as I'm aware, and Ann can correct me, but I do go hiking in there a lot, is when a lumber company has done some work in there, and then they've done something. So
Yeah,
I don't feel
typically,
that you guys have been good stewards of that road.
yeah, typically you do road work when you're harvesting timber and the road is put to bed in the interim. It is true, since we've owned the property, there've been numerous 100-year flood events once a year. So I will say that the volume, we've seen this across all of the lands that we own, like, we're struggling to keep up with road maintenance. I'm sure many of you who live on dirt roads and you guys who maintain how many miles of dirt road and within the town. The way roads have been managed in the past, and even the roads we've inherited from previous landowners related to slope and aspect and drainage for timber, it just doesn't sit up to the rain that we have now. So it is true, like Cynthia's right, there's been more rainfall that the road infrastructure as designed by the previous landowner just wasn't up to par. And it is true, like, we do manage this like a timber company. Many of you know, timber companies improve roads when they're cutting trees, and typically they put it to bed in the interim. And so that's how we manage the property, and that's what enables us to hold it for such a long period of time. So that's, I just wanted to share that as well. It's like, that is a steep road and a steep hollow. It's one of the challenges of going
It
to
is.
Manhattan Pines.
It is
Like,
very
it's
steep.
very steep, and we haven't done a timber sale since we bought the property on that side. We've done sales on the Murray Hollow side and done some road work there and improvements and opened them up and put them to bed, but we haven't done any timber sales on this side. We do have some road work scheduled this fall. Meadows End Timber is intending to improve the road. They hold a right of way on the road that we own. And so we're actually going to be cost sharing some road improvements on that road. So,
Great.
but again, like, that's sort of the challenge. Like, it is a
It
private
seems like
road.
when the lumber companies do work on the roads, they do it far up, they don't do it like in front of my house ever.
Right.
I have maintained the road for almost 50 years.
Yeah.
And now I gave up like 5-6 years ago. I just said, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
The logging trucks come and, you know, they don't care if it's muddy, snowing. And the two neighbors don't do anything. I've never done anything either, so.
It's tough. Like, I'll be glad to get out there with you. So
You know, I look
see.
forward
Yeah,
to
that'd be
just
great.
actual seeing it. That'll be beneficial because it'll help me paint the whole picture in my
Yeah.
head and understand exactly what we're
For
talking
sure. We'll even
about.
bring
I
3
mean,
copies of the survey. We'll
we
have-
can maybe collaboratively, there'll be a number of us, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you had
I'd
some
love to do
additional,
it too.
to come up with some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, happy to coordinate it.
Okay,
and
yeah,
whatever
Katie
works
will
for your
work on
schedule.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know
Love
you
to.
guys are, you know, you're doing this in your
You're
spare
there in the
time.
next place,
so-
but I'd like to investigate it
Sure.
and see what. we
Yeah,
can
and you
do.
know, feel free if you want to get up there without us. If you're
I
confident, you can
promise-
yourself back out.
I promise
let
I
us know.
won't. It makes people
I'll bring
nervous
you,
if they
man.
know, so, yeah.
And if you want to just let us know, I'm happy to give you permission to go on the property. I know it's still under the hunt lease, so just let us know. We're happy to help. So-
Glenn will have to take me.
Yeah, I can bring you up there.
Are you a member of the club?
No,
Oh.
no, I've spent time up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
I've taken many
I'll keep you
hikes,
there.
I've taken many hikes from that end of that road up over through grass down to my house.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of climb.
It's fun.
That like steep little top between like
Yeah.
Murray Hall and Benedict Hall.
But once you
it's
get to,
like-
once you get to the top of grass where the blueberry patch is, it's
Yeah.
all easy peasy right down through to my house. It's
like,
great.
That,
Don't
where
go
those-
down in the wrong hollow.
Yeah.
where those, yeah, where
On
those two
that.
hollows come together at the top, like, it's like a knife edge.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It's
remarkable.
cool.
It's really cool. We won't be able to drive out there.
No, no, no,
It's a long
that's
walk.
And I don't wanna have the
Oh.
embarrassment of having to have Brian and the rest of the guys. I would never live that down if they would come to find me. So
that's
I'll make
great.
sure I go with somebody.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll coordinate that. Anything
Okay.
else that that we need to discuss that we should take?
No, I think that'll be
Okay, great.
helpful.
That, I think it would be awesome to
Yeah.
kind of,
Oh, yeah, sure. Right on. That sounds great.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
great.
coordinate that and, just keep me posted. Happy to arrange that. I think it's
Super.
good path forward.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
Do
you
you
for
have
the
anything else
updates.
in the Forest Service?
No.
Okay, great.
We
Make sure
covered a
there
lot of
wasn't
ground
anything
in
else.
another meeting
Yeah.
or rest of your meeting.
Yeah.
Really
No, I
good.
appreciate the updates. Thank you
Yeah.
very
Thank you.
much.
Sure.
Thanks, Stacy.
Have a good
Yeah,
night.
okay. You know where to find us.
All right. Katie, I think that brings us on to the highway department.
Yes, so, in front of you are two, estimates slash,
Sand,
turnout
right.
and,
One's from Peckham's.
Peckham
Yeah,
and
And Wallingford,
Wallingford
right?
down.
Don't we usually, do we just single source that or don't we dual source that?
We don't dual source it, we do a certain amount. Isn't that how we've always done it?
Yeah,
I know
we
we've
always
done
have
that with
two.
salt, but I think we also did it with sand and stone because there is potential, right? Do we know that? Well, we've got 15. So Katie, on the Peckham, it looks like we've got 1,500 tons
Which is a number that rings in my head that we,
for sand and 3/4 and 1,000 tons of washed stone. And then is that the same quantities that we have from Troy Minerals
From Wallingford,
for Wallingford?
Wallingford did not submit like a formal estimate or proposal, it was just an email. And Mark wanted you guys to look at the figures ahead of
we've
time.
done it a few different ways since I've been a part of the board. I know, one year we hired, an outfit here in Arlington to truck a lot of things for us
Yeah.
from Peckham's. I think 2 years ago, we hired a different outfit to do the triaxle. And he did maybe 1 or 2 straight days of that. That's a little bit more difficult getting them to dump it where we like to dump it up on top of the hill, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then, kind of blending in the hill. But I know typically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Cynthia can probably correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have a dual.
Did we do dual?
I think we do.
Sand and stone? We always did
My
for salt.
recollection is that we did, for sure that we did
The
dual
salt.
for salt.
Mhm.
For sand, I don't think there's the same problem of getting sand that there is with
So
salt. Remember,
we-
sometimes.
Yeah,
you
no,
can
I
run
know
out of-
sometimes salt
I mean,
runs
like, you
out.
can always get sand. You may not get exactly the,
Yep.
vintage you want, but you can always get sand. So I think it's possible.
At that point, I think we've always
Have
gone through Peckham then.
Yeah, we
Okay.
just- And most of them.
And pricing wise, there's a slight difference in one of these, but the other ones are a little less, so.
Winter sand, yeah.
Um,
I mean,
You get it.
I tend to go through Peckham. If I
you
had
getting
to.
yours from Peckham, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we should, I mean, it's about that time to lock that in. If we want to move forward with that, I would seek a motion.
Well, that, if we're gonna truck it ourselves, say, I mean,
Are we gonna try, because I see there's a triaxle truck rental on here.
Peckham's 12 minutes away compared to Wallingford of being 50 minutes away, so.
Right, and there's a productivity increase in a shorter round trip
Absolutely.
time.
Yep.
So I would be in favor of getting it from Peckham's, just, not only is it actually, other than the washed stone, which is a little bit more a ton, there's savings on the sand
Mhm.
by like 2 and change.
I know
right?
at times, and I'm sure BJ does too, being in Sunderland, you like to mix a few here and there depending on the storm. But, even with it's comparable for the most part, 60 cents for the half, but,
Yeah, well, there's
you know,
less.
quite a little bit difference in the winter sand. So I'm more apt to go with Peckham being so close in comparison, especially if we were to truck it ourselves.
Well, yeah, because there's less mileage, less labor costs.
Yeah.
Increased productivity. Okay,
Sounds reasonable to me.
if somebody wants to make a motion to move forward with that, we'll entertain it.
I'll make a motion. To move forward with the Peckhams.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, motion by Sebastian and second by Glenn to move forward with the winter stone material contract to Peckham's in Peckham's down the road.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that because
Shasbury.
I think they've got a different corporate address
Should-
here. For winter stone for the 26-27 season, 1,500 tons of winter sand, 1,500 tons of 3/8 inch gravel, and 1,000 tons of wash stone and truck rental.
Should we amend that to, if needed, use their triax delivery, depending on availability of,
I think if we don't use it, we wouldn't get billed for it, so
Right.
it's probably fine.
okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I
Aye. Motion passes. Winter sand and stone is coming from Peckham's.
And the chassis quote did not come in, so we'll review that on
Perfect.
August 3rd.
Okay.
That's all for high. I have the 2-week project list.
Real quick, when
Yeah.
we get the quote for the chassis, I was thinking today, it'll be good to understand which truck that's replacing.
Yes.
And with that, what is the age of that truck? The mileage on the truck,
Yeah.
how much we paid for that truck originally.
Yeah.
So that we can calculate the depreciation and see where we are in the
Okay.
curve, okay?
Yeah. I might have Mark come from me. just-
Yep, absolutely.
That's-
Sorry,
that's-
I'm just throwing that out there
Yeah.
that
It's fine.
I'm gonna, since we don't have the chassis quote, and those are
Yeah.
gonna be questions that I will
Yeah.
have, let's
And-
throw it out now so that.
And
we
having
can
Mark come to the
calculate
meeting,
later.
we can jump that to the front of the
And
meeting.
he'll-
Yeah,
yeah.
we can go through it all. That way you can leave if needed. Right.
Perfect.
So for the next 2 to 3 days, there's blacktop being put up on East Arlington Road until about Thursday morning. Beginning, Thursday morning, 6 culverts are going in on Chunksbrook Road. That could take a couple days depending on weather. And then after that, they're moving to do 8 culverts on River Road. They anticipate that'll be like, Thursday into early next week. And then, as Josh said, on the 28th, they're gonna be at the Spring House pretty much all day. I guess ditching for the line to the generator. And then they'll go back and finish the culverts on River Road if there are any there that are outstanding. And then, they plan on doing ditching on Old Rust Road around the beginning of August 3rd, which is a Monday. So ditching on that road is after the culverts and water department work.
Question. Are all 3 of them working at the Spring House on the 28th?
I think
Ditching?
so.
Do you really need 3? It's not even that big a space.
Or maybe they'll be. I mean,
I'm just
they're-
curious, like,
I don't know.
right, if I had a contractor, it would be one guy and a backhoe that would
Yeah.
come in and do it.
I mean,
Maybe
Or
something
they,
to
or
visit.
he.
trucking and stuff, I
Maybe.
might lean towards that, but,
I'm not an expert in it. I'm just throwing it out there.
It was just their project list.
Yep.
for-
Yeah,
And
no, I
maybe the
understand.
plan is that one is off doing something else. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I mean, give the benefit of the doubt until we know, right? I mean, typically with a culvert, you get rid of some stuff, you bring some stuff in. be compacted.
Oh, yeah, I know the culverts are multi-person. I just wonder if digging the conduit line and
Oh, no.
and stuff at the
Yeah.
spring house is a 3-man or a
Well, they might be
one-man
working on
job.
River Road and like the.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's a 3-man deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you there, Matt.
I feel like that's a one-man job and a many X, and the other two, and maybe the other two guys are working at finishing the culverts. I don't know. But that was just my only question. Okay,
And then that's all for highway.
Great.
awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Appreciate the updates. Brings us to line item 7 in the fire department, and I know Chief Polly is with us this evening to talk about some stuff that he has brought does that turnout here, Brian?
Yeah, so, every year, we try to keep up with our turnout here. This year I looked for approval for 3 sets and then, a few extra gloves and hoods in there as they get ruined or outdated. So the quotes there in front of you, MES is who we use right along. We like their gear, we get good service out of them and everything, so if we do that, that'd be great. There's plenty of money in the new equipment, as I haven't spent much out of that yet. Cause I'm holding off, unless you're on the wait, so I have to do that, but we're holding off because we did apply for a couple grants. I'm trying to make sure that we so do get a grant that I have the money to.
That's great.
Should we do I'm okay with,
I have a question on your quote.
Yep.
Do you have enough, with this, will you have enough spare hoods and gloves? Because I understand, hoods and gloves are somewhat of a consumable item, right? They get ripped and torn. And
Yeah.
stuff like that. Will this make sure that you have spares in stock?
Yeah, so the first sets, the 3 sets, they get everything new, and then the rest of the gloves.
they're just
that you see in
extra,
there are extra.
they're extra.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you have back stock on the
Yeah.
shelf for the firefighters,
No,
because I don't want to be caught and like,
No,
we're out of gloves, you know what I mean?
And I just
Like,
threw it in
those
with
are-
this, cause if we had to, we buy them here or there.
Absolutely, I just
threw
want
it
to
in
make
with
sure
this
that
so you
you've
can
got a
see
par
what-
on the shelf. so
And I know
that
we
it's
have
just
money in the
right
account.
away.
Should we approve this as a, not to exceed kind of thing, or go with the actual amount?
I think we go with the actual amount that's right on this.
Okay, so can I bundle them together? There's no reason I can't, right?
Oh, there's no reason you can't bundle the two together. Yeah, just do the math.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the Arlington Fire Department for turnout gear, and extra sets of gloves and hoods. They're all from MES, right, Brian?
Anything-
Yeah.
So from everything from MES for $18,634, if I did my math correctly.
Double check it. In a second.
I'll second.
The only reason
That's Brian, discussion?
The only reason it's split is because the hoods and gloves will come in quicker than everything else.
Of course, right?
So, the gear has to be made, so that's why it's a split. So
Sure, that's fine. So motion by Glenn and second by Sebastian to approve the purchase of turnout gear and spare gloves and hoods from MES in the amount of $18,634. Even? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
One other thing I got for you, is I know you guys have been asking about the foam, because of our billing.
Yeah.
So 15 pails have been ordered.
Awesome.
Great.
Because we didn't have any backstock. I know we didn't use that many at the car fire, but we actually just used some at a couple of our recent fires. So 15 pails gets us where we don't have to pay the shipping cost and that, and
Super.
it fit in. So
And receivables, billings for billable calls seems to be going well, and I know and even one of those that was outstanding is now on a payment plan. So that's very positive and allows us to replenish these consumables that
and we have one that's just got put out there. Our firefighters spent an early morning at 2 a.m. go on the long trail to get somebody who had a headache. So that person will be receiving a bill from us. Because pretty much all we did is deliver Tylenol. And then help
Pretty
carry the
expensive
backpack-
Tylenol.
Backpack out. I think we were in there for about 6.5 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how that goes, but that person, Eric, was working on that to get that bill. Or that run sent in, so that would be built.
Perfect. That's great. I don't know if I don't think it's been 100%. Even if he submitted it, it hasn't hit the portal yet, but, you know, we've got 3 outstanding invoices currently. Run 39 in the amount of 1,669.20. That's on a payment plan. And there are 2 additionals, run number 12 for $577 and run number 52 for $633. And those are still under insurance reviews. So our biller is still working with the insurance companies for payment on those, which is not uncommon. And one of the reasons why we've outsourced this is so that they can play the insurance runaround game.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. Thank you for following up on that, Brian. And thanks to Eric for making sure that we get those submitted. Because it does allow us to make sure that we keep these consumable items in stock for when we need them. It's super important for both the nature of the call as well as the safety of our firefighters. And thank you for an awesome carnival.
Yeah, that was great.
Friday and Sunday, sans the weather on Saturday, but yeah, thank you for everybody's hard work.
The guys did, well, everybody did a good job. You
Did a great job.
So, but yeah, we had a lot of extra volunteers from the town that came out and helped us, which really helps out. So all together it was pretty good.
Great.
Thank you to everybody that came out to support us. And hopefully maybe we'll do it again next year.
Hopefully. Thank you. Anything else regarding the fire department that we need to address? I think we're supposed to get together, but I don't know. I've gotten no confirmation, so I'm pretty flexible this week, Brian. If somebody can let me know. I know Jamie is in here tonight, and he was trying to coordinate that.
Yeah.
So I'm very flexible to meet with that, and that'll help us just kind of figure out what our to-do list is between the buildings and stuff like that, and then we can get some answers. So, all right. Recreation Park, Katie.
Yes. So there are 2 quotes in front of you for some work to be done at the rec park. And I know these are quotes that like you guys have talked about earlier in the year, and I'm sorry to bring them up again, but like now I have them and I know how much they are and I know the scope of work and I know when they're trying to do it. The first one is rainbow sprinklers for the remaining 4 greens that don't have irrigation installed. This cost of $4,400. Going by what has already been spent at the golf course for this fiscal year, this will put us like $200 over on the golf equipment line item. We do have money in the capital reserve fund for park equipment fund. I guess this kind of qualifies as park equipment. So we could pull from this fund, but I didn't know if that's something that was like done in practice or you guys.
Couple $100.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should, I mean, this is park infrastructure and equipment.
Right,
So I would
right.
think it
That's
should
how I
be
feel
pulled
about
from the capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I've talked to different stakeholders about this, it's like, well, we're supposed to get money from the golf association, or well, we're supposed to get money from the park and rec committee. And I'd rather just like get this work
Well, I think we can
done.
ask for some.
Yeah.
I was gonna
from-
ask if
But to move forward with,
but
Right, let's
yeah,
just move
but we
forward
should
with
move
it.
forward with this
Yeah.
because we need to get.
we need to get the golf
irrigation
course
there.
Yes.
going.
Yeah.
My understanding is with the Parks Committee, we can ask for like reimbursement
Yeah.
on things that have been
Okay.
done. So
Okay.
we can move forward and still ask them for
Great.
contributions.
Great.
The question of, and I don't think I am probably qualified or know enough about the 4 battery operated valves. Do we need those?
I'm not 100% sure
I don't
what
think-
those would be, but
I don't think the other ones have that.
They're not.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Because that's quite a bit more money.
yeah.
So I don't know if I don't think the 4 that are there, I mean, we've lifted up the covers of them and I've like looked at it. I
I've
couldn't
never
tell
heard
you
about
if
anything
there were
about batteries
or
needing
not.
on those, so I would probably move forward with that.
But mine was just to get
The irrigation.
yes, get the
Yeah.
irrigation installed. Super. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page about that.
Yeah.
This-
So let's do these one at a time.
Okay.
Is there a motion to move forward with the irrigation?
I make a motion to accept Rainbow Sprinklers and Drainage in the amount of $4,400 to install the sprinklers on the 4 greens at the golf course as needed.
Motion by
I will
Glenn,
second that.
second by Sebastian. So motion by Glenn, second by Sebastian to approve Rainbow Sprinklers in the amount of $4,400 for irrigation on the remaining 4 greens at the golf course. Just to note that we'll be paying for that out of the capital reserve fund. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right.
All right, and
Next
the
one.
next one is the power washing of the basketball court and tennis court. We do have money in fields and grounds to cover this. There's not been hardly any money taken out of that line item, and I can get the book out if we want the name of it, but that's
That's
the
okay.
line
This
item
has been
there.
something we've been talking about for a year.
We've been
plus.
backing on in this and
Yes.
it's got all that mold on it. It's
Yeah,
slippery,
it's getting
so.
slippery, it's getting nasty.
Yeah.
People still use it, don't get me wrong, but it would
Yeah.
be nice to freshen it up.
Yes.
So, and I
Slippery,
think-
that's dangerous.
Yeah, this process uses an environmentally safe chemical to kill that
Mhm.
moss and mold, whereas just pressure washing itself will actually drive that further
Yeah.
down
Which
into
which
the.
they even say here, we use a
pavement.
specialized low pressure cleaning process combined with what they're using for said
Mhm.
Yeah,
biodegradable chemical.
yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I
So
mean, this
they'll
has been
need
something we've been
access
kicking around for a while.
To the hydrant, but Cooper can help with that.
Yeah.
So,
And they, so A1 is a smaller company out of New York. They schedule, like larger, net 30, contracts. And then in between the weeks, they do residential where they can be paid up front. They only have between the 18th and the 21st available for the rest of the summer. So I went ahead and like totally looked at it, but I'll have to hand them payment when they
That's
show
fine.
up. So I might just get Janet to like approve this. So we have
We'll
to check
make it happen.
Okay.
yeah, sure.
I think it needs to happen.
Yes,
We've been
yeah.
kicking this around for 2 years now.
I know, it's been back and forth, and I've heard, that when it is moist in the morning, the tennis court can be a little slippery.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So, do we have a motion to,
Yeah,
seek a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the power washing of the basketball and tennis courts by A1 Power Washing, the amount of $6,930.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian, second by Glenn to approve A1 Power Washing Services to take care of the tennis and basketball courts in the amount of $6,930. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Do what you need to do to get it done, Katie.
Super. And the last item is Jeff Jocelyn was out at the rec park today, getting ready to install the new windows and doors. So they're here,
Awesome.
they're getting installed.
Great.
He thought maybe he could send somebody up next week. So
Perfect.
that is underway. And then that's all I have for the rec park. If you guys have anything else.
Nope, it looks really good.
Can you said between the 18th and 21st of August?
The 17th and 21st. She thinks it'll take like a day. So it'll either be the 17th.
I might just sneak over there and just take a peek ski with them.
Yeah, and that would be good for Cooper to just kind of pay.
I mean, I'm gonna be there
attention
for,
to
I'm gonna be there for
what
soccer
they're-
anyway,
Yes.
so.
Oh,
What
absolutely.
they're doing and see.
Go introduce
what
myself and
chemicals they
that's-
put down and what the
Yeah.
process is.
Yeah, like
Maybe
what
really good for
equipment.
Cooper to just kind of
Yeah.
get a
100%.
good idea of what they're doing there.
Yeah.
And to that note, I think, Cooper, it was his second week last, or second week last week.
Yes, it was this is his second full week.
Full week.
This is
Part-time.
his second full
Yeah.
week. So last week was his first full week. Very short period of time, but I think he did it. The park looks really good.
Yep.
And, I think, I know it was all hands on deck to work to make sure it was sand and tall for the Fireman's Carnival, but it looked really good. And I
As
think
far
he's
as
doing a good
decision making,
job.
I don't know if he talked to anybody, but I mean, to leave the softball field long for what was going on this weekend. And, stuff was long where it needed to be long
Yeah.
for traffic.
Yeah.
And whoever helped him with that, maybe it was just him, that was a good decision.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and there were a couple of miscellaneous items, tractor tires,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we have to get,
Yeah.
and some other just tools that are all taken care of down at the park, so.
Yeah.
And, I would just urge, Katie, to meet with Cooper regularly
Yeah.
and make sure that he has the tools that. he
And
needs
I mean,
down there.
as the liaison, I'll get down there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see him. And he did ask me a question last night at the carnival while I was talking with Matt about the height of the soccer field that I would
Yeah.
prefer. So
Yeah.
I gotta come up with the answer for that. And
Okay.
we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I just don't want to burn it either. So I was gonna talk to Todd, who was the previous coach for 20+ years, 25 years. So I'm gonna go by his example.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I did set Cooper up with town email,
Yeah.
and we can create a shared calendar for the park too, if
Yeah.
he ends up needing that.
Okay.
And we can kind of figure that out as time goes on, but I thought it was important that he have a town email in the event that he's working with vendors and stuff. And
Yeah.
you can probably help him, or I can go help him make sure he gets that on his phone so that he has access to it.
Okay.
Okay. Willie had fun and I deprecated his account, and
Yes.
you have access to
I do,
emails
yeah.
for 30 days and then they'll
Yeah.
go away. So I don't think there's anything in there you probably need, but
He only had 25 emails.
perfect.
So
All right.
I
Well,
don't think,
so
I don't
it'll
think he
just
used
go
it. I
away.
didn't even know he had it.
Yeah. So that's why I gave one to Cooper, because I wanted
Okay.
to make sure. And he may be working with vendors or scheduling stuff
Yeah.
at the.
Which
Yeah.
eventually is going to.
And,
Right.
and eventually it's only the second week. So.
Right, and so the interim, I've not, so like
Yep.
all the Jeff Jocelyn and our emails of the windows, I've been feeling
That's
all
perfect.
those, so he can focus on getting
Perfect.
recorded.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. And I think that brings us to your update.
Yes,
Katie.
so this is purely informational, the information about the appraisal notice, the
appraisal,
appraisers
yes.
received it. We all know about it, we're prepared for it, we have funds set aside for it, but this is the first like official communication I've seen come through with it. Okay, here's something great, Serve Pro. So for the ceiling tile work to happen, flashlight upgrade, as well as installation of the attic space, we
Mhm.
have to take care of the attic.
Yes.
And Serve Pro has come out and got up there and assessed, looked at the floorboards that need to come up for the insulation work. The other like hazardous materials that are up there, the like animal nests and droppings and stuff. So they
Delicious.
assessed it and they are gonna clean it all out for us. That way insulation can come in and be done and we can do ceiling tile work. So there's a quote before you from them for that work. And in the amount of $24,679.30. So this amount is under the threshold for an RFP, but it is above the threshold of like what I can do on my own. So I just
And
want
is
to get
this
your all.
any portion of this paid for out of the grant
No.
for the energy? No, we
No.
just have to do this in order to get
Yeah.
the grant. And what do we have in the building sinking fund?
So the capital
52?
reserve building fund is $52,958.
Okay. Which is probably where this work, something that concerned me, and I don't know, and this is just a question, and it may just be the line item that they use building the quote. But it did say that they were, where is it? Tear out and bag wet insulation in confined space. Do we have wet insulation up there?
I believe so.
And so why do we have wet
I
insulation?
assume there, I don't think there's the vapor barrier in the walls is working, or there's no vapor barrier.
Condensation.
Oh, we
I
think
think
it's
it's condensation.
condensation
Could very
though,
well be. If
and
there's no vapor
not
barrier,
a
it's
roof leak, right?
That's what
That's
the-
where I'm going with this.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's a roof leak, and I think our quote from the insulation company mentioned water vapor barrier.
Condensation,
Yeah,
vapor
or that there is no
barrier.
vapor
Okay.
barrier.
Nope, that was my only question. So, and we need to remediate that before we have a
Right.
big
Before a
health problem
disaster,
within
right.
the building. So we should, it sounds like we've got money in the CRF for that. And, do we know, was this more or less what we were did we have a pulse on what the quote was gonna come back at originally or what we were gonna spend?
I didn't know, I didn't know how long it was gonna take, how many people they were gonna need, or if they were gonna have special disposal methods.
Yeah. I mean, there's hazardous waste involved. It doesn't seem outrageous to me,
It doesn't to me.
but Glenn, I'll defer because.
No, it doesn't seem that bad to me. I mean,
Quite a few labor hours.
without, yeah, exactly. Without seeing, a comparable quote. I was kind of concerned about the tear out and bag wet insulation as well. I would assume that they would let us know if they thought we had a roof leak, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't assume that we did. I think,
And the insulation.
without a vapor barrier, you're gonna have condensation. And it could be just so much little as that. I'm not saying it's wet right now. It just could get wet sometimes.
I think they saw evidence.
Evidence of,
Yeah.
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 And I think, in looking over this quote, it appears as though they're being very thorough to make sure that there's no mold spores or any hazardous
Yes.
environmental kind of from old fiberglass or anything like that, chance of that infiltrating down here to the office areas. So it looks like, they've kind of addressed all that with negative pressure, exhaust and everything. So I feel comfortable with that. Is there a motion to move forward to get this work done? So then we can move forward with insulation and ceiling tile replacement under the grant, personally. This would be paid for under the capital reserve.
I make a motion to accept Servpro's quote in the amount of, I just said it, $24,679.30 for work here at the town office, and paid for out of the capital reserve fund for town buildings fund.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Glenn, second by Sebastian to approve the quote for cleaning out the attic and associated insulation from Servpro North Rensselaer in the amount of $24,679.30. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
All right, and there's just a couple of quick things. Website and heat pump RFPs are coming in, lots of website ones. The heat pump system, I only have 2 so far. I haven't had a chance to look at the most recent one, but the one I briefly glanced at, they're quoting like 81,000, which is like almost all of our MERP funds total. And I don't know why it's so high, but anyway, I'm gonna revisit that when the RFP closes on the 31st, but just to give you guys a heads up about that. Secondly, our .gov domain, I've applied for it. We've been approved for it. I've sent it to e-enable to start work on their end. And they've been a little bit slow to respond, so I want to make sure I follow up with them like tomorrow or Thursday because I've had a hard time reaching them. But once they apply that to our
And we'll have to
DNS,
do some Microsoft OS 365 work, which I don't know if they have access, but you and I can also do it. I have a full admin to that,
Okay.
and you are as well.
Yes.
So,
okay.
or you can work on it at night.
Yeah. But once I think they have to do the DNS part.
They have to do the DNS
Okay,
part
that's what I
first,
thought.
yes.
Okay. And so they'll do that and then we can do the
Yeah.
emails.
Yep. And I don't think we have to change everybody's username, like we can keep those as .org and we'll just keep both domains, but then we'll make .gov the primary for website and email addresses and the .org as aliases.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can help with that.
Okay.
I've done that. Most of the time.
Okay, cool.
No problem. But that's really good news because there is a requirement
Yeah.
in like the next year or so that municipalities move to .gov addresses anyhow.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that, Katie.
Yeah, it was easy. I do have to add something to my update. So Nick called me last week to make sure that we had started the process for short-term financing for the 7A sidewalk invoices that are coming in, because the big ones are gonna start coming in once the construction work gets underway. I have to get a letter from Merrill and that states like their legal opinion, and then either Christian or Merrill will come up with a grant anticipation note that we're gonna take to Bank of Bennington for short-term financing. The person at Bank of Bennington needs to have some sort of proof, like in our meeting minutes, that you as the board approve that we seek short-term financing for the 7A pedestrian access and name an authorizing agent to sign for that financing. And this might have occurred at a meeting previously about this, but I
I
went
don't
back
think
through
we've done
minutes.
this
Okay,
before.
okay, I couldn't find anything.
We've done, well, I know we've done it at the school a long time ago when I was on the school board. We did something very similar, but I don't think
Yes.
we've done that here for this
Okay.
project. So
And it just needs to be recorded in the minutes.
Yep. I would seek a motion from the board to approve the application for short-term financing for the Route 7A sidewalk project. And I don't know, I'm happy to do the signature stuff that needs to be done at the Bank of Bennington. I don't know, I think it has to be a board member. I don't
I think
think
it does, yes.
we can delegate that to
No, it
you.
should be
So,
it should be a board member or the chair.
yeah, I just knowing, and I mean, Dan could absolutely do it, but I know that he's very careful about where he goes out and everything. So I'm also happy to do that as the vice chair with the bank.
I'll make a motion to approve, what was it, the
Short-term financing.
For the sidewalk project. Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian, second by Glenn, to approve short-term financing for the 7A sidewalk project with the Bank of Bennington. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, Katie.
Okay,
And if you find out or they get all that paperwork ready, I can swing down and take care of that.
I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then the last item is something that Jamie wanted me to add, but he's not here to speak to it, but it just has to do with like brush clearing in town right of ways, specifically Benedict Crossing. I don't know if anyone here wants to talk about it or has anything to share, or if there's any public comment on it.
Yeah, I'm here on that. I cut the brush down there and Jamie stopped me because Fred came up and said that I was on his property. Now, Jamie was there and I did not go down on what Fred thinks is his property. And there was a letter that Cynthia, because this went on since last year, since the covered bridge deal. Cynthia said she sent a letter to Kelly and to Fred. Fred had to remove that fence. And he didn't. Then he had till like January 28th. And he's down the wayside bragging, well, I'm going to wait till the 27th. And he never did it. Went on for a month. And I think Cynthia went down and cut the barbed wire. But in the deed, Robin found it in the deed that there has to be an access to the river. Cynthia went down and measured 25 feet from the center of the road. But that's not access. That if that wouldn't have been in the deed, that would have been automatic as far as the town is concerned. But in the deed, either Bill Young put that or Yale had that in when they sold it to Harry Pickering, access. That, and Cynthia even said last year one time, access. Now she's kind of flipped to the 25 feet, which you've got a retaining wall there, and that only gives you about 3 feet. So that's, and as far as Fred saying that I cut on his property, I did not. Jamie was there. He witnessed where I cut on the top of the retaining walls and on the other side of the guardrail. So he thinks he owns a bridge, and he's happy to have that road down there as his private road. And he doesn't want to see that bridge open, which that access is, there's only a few accesses on the bank.
Probably best to have we just table this and hear from Jamie.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
didn't know he was gonna be here, yeah.
But this has been going on for last year.
No, we know it has. I just need Jamie here to add.
Well, right, Jamie.
And he
was here,
wanted
I
to
thought he was
know. He
gonna-
wanted to
Yeah, no, he had another.
Well,
It'd be
commitment.
good to have
Like I said,
clarification
she-
from Marky on it.
No, I remember the whole thing.
Yeah, Robin said that Cynthia saw the deed and Fred saw the deed. That says access. Now access is not a 2 feet path down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just dragged on. I got frustrated. That's why I went down. At least the thing looks halfway like a bridge there from that end. I cut the brush on the weed whacking. And there's trees starting to grow down in there and it's gonna eventually wreck the retaining walls. And it's down on the covered bridge, there's trees going in that.
Yeah, well, that's on our
Yes.
right of way, so that should get on the highway crew.
I was just saying the same thing as
Go
Sebastian.
down and.
It's definitely something that maybe we should have Marky speak about and
Yeah.
Jamie here for because he was involved.
Yep.
So.
Yep,
Makes sense.
and we have someone very skilled in
But how are we
arborists.
gonna define access?
That's a good question. We probably.
If you
And
look
I,
at the deeds,
It's
you have a
statutes.
copy of it and
I get it. We probably need to get, when we
Meryl.
talk to Meryl,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
ask her
okay.
about that. Just because you have a very good point. How do you define access, right? And it could be somewhat subjective. I'd like, without doing any research, I think it would be good to have,
Yeah,
opinion from council on what
Right.
is the
What do we
definition
What
define?
are we,
of
what
access.
are we defining?
Right,
But I think Bill Young or Laylo, when they put that in the deed, he foreseen this, that was someone that bought the property would try to close it off.
okay. Well, I know you've been very patient and I know we've worked on it, and the best I can do tonight is to ask that you give us a little bit longer, and I'm sorry, like, I know that's not the answer that you want,
Like a year.
but no,
Like
not
the
a
next
year.
meeting?
I can give,
Give
I
me 2 weeks.
can assure you, give us 2 weeks to talk
Okay.
about this at the next meeting. Katie, when she talks to council, will get a definition on access because you bring up a very good point. And then, I have no reason to believe Jamie won't be at that meeting, so we can discuss a little bit more with him.
Down there when that.
And we can also, in the meantime, Katie, you can follow up with Mark about brush clearing and those kind of areas in our right of way and see if we can get a plan for that as well.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that Pickering did not cut the barbed wire in the due time. He didn't comply. There was a thing up in northern Vermont where a farmer got nailed $100 a day.
Yeah, I think
And
Cynthia's
mean,
solution to that was
Pickering's
she
just
went and
like-
cut it
it's
out,
just a
but
joke to him.
understood. We will, thank you for bringing that to our attention, and it's something that we can address going forward.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Give us, I hate to say it, but please, we'll visit it at the next meeting and hopefully have some more answers. Okay? Anything else for your
I-
update,
I
Katie?
don't know.
Okay. We will have a quick executive session for a personnel matter, with no action to be taken, but beyond that, I think that brings us
Do the warrants.
to warrants. Do you want to do them, Sebastian or Glenn?
I would prefer to go into it.
Yeah, I can do it.
I'm so tired. Sorry.
You're good.
All
You're
right.
hanging in there. I appreciate it.
Thanks, BJ.
Thank you, BJ.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night.
We'll talk next 2 weeks.
All right. Moving on to, the water department, check warrant report number WD 15. Motion to approve in the amount of $5,498.29. Most notable on here is, snow plumbing and heating, the May, June assistant salary. And, the Green Mountain Power, for 1,400. But other than that, your typical internet sample test, stuff like that. But motion to approve $5,498.29.
Second.
Motion by Glenn, seconded by Sebastian to approve water department warrant WD 15, $5,498.29. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
All right, moving on to check warrant report for the town of Arlington accounts payable number 15. Check warrant report number 15 in the amount of $30,917.33. Notable transactions on here. PCRC for the 7A sidewalk project, Capital Tractor for some highway truck maintenance, Dufresne Group for the 7A sidewalk, Green Mountain Power for the stuff that they do, Miles Fuels for diesel, some odds and ends, firehouse updates, and class 2, class 3 stone, and RK Miles, like we talked about earlier with the windows, and various other things. But motion to approve $30,917.33.
Second.
Motion by Glenn, seconded by Sebastian, town warrant report number 15 in the amount of $30,917.33. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right. One thought, Katie, real quick before, and that is if we don't end up doing the heat pumps here in town hall because the amount is so high, I was just thinking about this.
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity to apply that to the spring house?
Armor funds?
Yes.
I don't know, I can check. That was not in the scope of work. when
I
we got the
understand, but like maybe I don't know what the rules are and if they
Yeah.
would let the shift, but it's just a thought.
Yeah. I mean, you can file for an amendment,
Addendum
and
or
I can,
amendment.
and I can
And
explore.
just say, hey, we can't do it here because it came in way too high, but we're making energy improvements
Yeah.
at
the spring.
that
Yeah.
property. Could we
Yeah.
apply it there? It's just a
Yeah.
thought that I was thinking as
Yeah,
to how
I'll
we could
recalc-
shuffle and
yeah.
reallocate things.
Yeah,
So I just throw that out there. Food for thought.
and I'm gonna ask her anyway, why these are so high when like our total award is like 115,000.
Well, prices of
Why?
materials have just gone through
Yeah.
the roof. Trust me, I've been
Yeah.
struggling with that all day
Stupid.
today.
Okay.
So, all right, we've got a quick executive session for personnel.
Personnel?
Yeah.
I make a motion that premature discussion of a personnel matter would suffer the municipalities to suffer substantial disadvantage.
I'll second.
Motion by Glenn, seconded by Sebastian to establish the reason of executive session as personnel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I now make a motion to enter into executive session and to allow town administrator Ms. Dixon to remain in the room.
Second.
Motion by Glenn and second by Sebastian to enter into said executive legal session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is, looks like, what time is it? 9:28. We are out of executive session with no action to be taken. Is there any other business to be brought before the board? Hearing none, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Glenn, second by Sebastian. We are adjourned.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go home for the bed.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Thank you, Kate. I used to do that drive 4 times a year as a kid, because we lived in Maumee, but